Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Triple N Media. I am NIK NIKAM. The feature presentation is which is better, ChatGPT or Google Bard? First of all, what is ChatGPT and Google Bard? They are artificial intelligence which reads the input from a consumer, then comes up with clever responses. That's the simplest way to put it. But the way the ChatGPT does compared to what Google does are quite different things, and we're going to explore that and find out is one better than the other, or are they serving different purposes? And that's the key point. At the end of the day, we are going to need multiple sources of information to analyze and see how we can apply that in our daily life in improving our life, improving the quality of work we do, and improving the efficiency. So let's look at here is a big chart talking about the differences between ChatGPT versus Google Bard in terms of development, language, model, learning process, upgrades, and search engines which are currently using these. So instead of just reading through this fine print, let's expand a couple of these items each and see what the main differences are. To begin with, Google search, all of you have lived through your life using Google search on a daily basis. You have a question or you are looking for something, for example, restaurants, Indian, Italian, American restaurants near me, and you just type in the text, it spits out a long list along with a map and location and links to their website, blah, blah, blah. Whereas ChatGPT, you pose a question and it will come up with an answer which is quite different from what we get from Google. With ChatGPT, it analyzes your question. It could be multiple parts in a question. And then when you add a series of questions after that, it links all those questions to the opening conversation that you had, in which sense it carries the story forward. That's the key part. Whereas Google simply looks for websites which have references to what you're looking for, and then it shows that. And in many cases, Google, mostly the first page you see is ads, commercial ads. Anyway, let's leave that aside. Coming back to ChatGPT, when you pose a question, it will come up with a description in a language descriptive manner. That is, it comes up with beautifully formatted, clean text of 2-3 paragraphs or a list of items. The beauty of this is very useful for people in medical research or any site of research, people who are involved in language learning, people who are involved in preparing long documents, and people who are interested in summarizing documents. And I have done several videos on medical applications of ChatGPT in terms of how it can be used to get the data from the patient, the nurse, the computers, the lab reports, x-rays, MRIs, and bring all these things and create a history and physical or a discharge summary for a patient. That's where ChatGPT just super shines, whereas Google search cannot do that one. Okay, talking about ChatGPT, it creates a beautiful prose, but if you pose the same question, you're going to get the same answer. Just like you can't use Google search when you're taking an exam or writing a paper or presenting a presentation, because you may be chastised for plagiarizing, ChatGPT may also be prone for plagiarizing. So much so, my grandkids were blocked from using ChatGPT on their school-supplied laptops. Think about it. Okay, getting back to it is developed by OpenAI, ChatGPT, whereas Bard is developed by Google. It is a language processing software model, GPT-3, whereas Google uses a different language model, Dialog 4 application called Lambda. Basically, they take your text and try to analyze it and see what kind of responses would be helpful to you. and here it writes it in the form of a prose or a form of a list, and here it just gives references to the websites, or that is followed by a series of questions, and if you click on those questions, it gives you a lot more leading answers in the same field. For example, if you're looking for taxes, then it will explain a lot of questions, and using those questions you can expand your knowledge. That is with Google search model. ChatGPT can work offline, and it has data which is up to date up to September 2021. So it does not connect the current events with what you're asking, which is a limitation at this time. I wouldn't say a drawback, because as time goes on, as millions and millions of people are already inputting data into this ChatGPT, these computer databases are constantly updated. So it's just a matter of time before it catches up. And when you have quantum computing, these data can be collected so fast, so rapidly, it will almost become real time. I mean, that's my hypothesis. Whereas Google, as it links every website, every new page, and every location, it becomes available to every person searching the Google site. Learning is based on repetition. Just like a child learns how to walk, run, or we learn a language, same way the artificial intelligence learns the questions from, like if 1,000 medical people are inputting questions, it takes all those questions and say, there are some repetitions here, and there are some similarities, there are some differences here, and then it formulates an answer based upon similarities and differences, so that when the next person asks the same question, it can give either similarities or differences depending upon what the person is looking for. Whereas Google search simply answers your question. It doesn't analyze to this extent of what is the prose that it has to write. That's the main difference. Whereas ChatGPT is free for use. More than 1 million people signed up within a couple of months, and basically they are all unpaid employees who are inputting millions and millions of questions, which becomes the foundation for the next generation of ChatGPT responses. Right? And you can get a $20 version for an upgraded one in the United States, whereas Google is accessible anywhere in the world. Currently, Microsoft has teamed up with ChatGPT and has spent close to $10 billion, has committed close to $10 billion to incorporate ChatGPT into its Bing search engine, so that Bing search engine can give more descriptive answers to your questions. But I would caution those who are using these as college students or university researchers, using this particular data and copying line by line and putting it in your report, because that's going to be close to plagiarism. Because most of the database search engines that look for plagiarism are also including the data coming from these AI programs that generate text or prose. So these are some of the major differences and similarities, but there are more differences between these two types of data access sources, but there are some similarities. Number one, ChatGPT can provide you extra knowledge of what you are looking for and what you didn't even know that you could incorporate into your presentation or writing or novel or whatever it is. Same way, Google also gives you answers, but also it gives you all these series of questions which can expand your knowledge. So the fundamental similarities, they expand your knowledge, they expand your sources of information, they open up your thoughtful process so that you can ask more creative questions to get more intricate answers to your dilemma. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope this has been educational and useful to you. Just take a test drive, sign up for ChatGPT, it is free. and pose a question. And you have a question at your job, pose the question and see how it answers. Keep asking the same question in different manners, and then keep asking follow-up questions. Eventually, maybe you'll find the answer, or maybe your boss will find the answer and send you home. Okay, that's so much for fun. This has been a Triple N Media presentation. I am NIK NIKAM. Thank you so much, and please do watch our presentations on ChatGPT, particularly in the medical field, which I am exploring. And if you have any suggestions or comments, please do them, and then please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. I will see you in the next presentation.